Okay, here we are, here we are, here we are. We are live on this fine Friday evening here in the UK. April, summer's around the corner. What's not to like, man? What's not to like? But yeah, I mean, I thought I'd fire up a quick live stream before this weekend's boxing. Really good weekend of fights. In particular, Gennady Golovkin versus Ryota Murata. Great middleweight fight, unification. Both guys carry power, aggression. Both guys go for the gusto. So get those two guys together. It's going to be a great fight. It really is. I do have Gennady Golovkin, but honestly, I think it's a much harder fight than people are making out, especially with Gennady Golovkin's age. I mean, I would agree. I mean, a few years ago, I would take Golovkin comfortably, but Gennady Golovkin right now, I mean, it's a different proposition entirely, in my opinion. You know, Golovkin's clearly not the guy he once was a few years back. So I think this is going to be a hard fight for him. I really do. I really do. And obviously on top of that, it's in Japan, where Ryota Murata tends to perform better. He always looks much better in Japan. A little bit, just a little bit more dynamic. Seems to be really buoyed by the home support. So I think Murata's a tough fight for Golovkin. Very tough fight. And again, ultimately, as fans, we will be the winners because it's going to be violent, regardless of how it plays out. And that's what we want to see, man. We want to see good fights. We want to see competitive fights and knockouts. And I think we're going to get that tomorrow. I really do. So yeah, Golovkin versus Murata is a great fight. PBC have a really good card, to be fair. Erickson Lubin versus Sebastian Fundora. That's a really good fight. No complaints from me. I'm leaning towards Fundora based on size, based on strength. I think you'll get to Erickson Lubin. But Lubin is definitely the better boxer. I just don't trust his chin, quite frankly. And on the undercard, you've got Sergio Garcia versus Tony Harrison as well, which is a really good fight. And obviously, we also have the return of Ryan Garcia. So this weekend is good, man. This weekend is good. Let's be honest. It's a good weekend. It's a good weekend. Big up to Natman. Salute, Natman. Hopefully you're keeping well, bro. Soothsayer 12. Soothsayer 12. Big up to yourself, bro. Hopefully you're having a good chill Friday. I'm not too bad, I'm not too bad. Could be better, could be worse. Could be better, could be worse. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the boxing this weekend. Aside from that, though, I've got a pretty busy weekend. I need to put in some work this weekend, man. I really do. I need to put in some work. I need to do my fucking tax self-assessment. I need to get that out of the way, which is always stressful. Yeah, that's going to be stressful. Got some other shit to do, take care of, usual shit. Got fucking I got jury duty as well. I had that letter today. I've been called up for jury duty. I think on like the 23rd of May. And honestly, bro, I cannot be asked. I'm gonna lose out on money, bro, because they hardly reimburse you. They pay you like £63 a day. I'm gonna be out of pocket, man. So I'm gonna challenge it. I'm gonna try and not go. I cannot be bothered. It's a waste of time. I lose money. Fuck jury duty. So fingers crossed we can get out of it. But yeah, big up to Soothsayer. Excuse my rant. Salute. Big up to PSK. Salute. They'll hit the like and subscribe. It's facts. But hopefully you're doing well, bro. Hopefully you're keeping well, PSK. Rooting for Murata, and we don't need that third Canelo fight. I get you, the man who belches. I get you. I'm not particularly looking forward to a third Canelo fight, but it is what it is. I've never responded to jury duty in my life. Ignore it. It's a bit different over here in the UK. You can actually be fined and prosecuted if you ignore it. So you have to respond and give them a good reason. And my reason is I'm going to be fucking out of pocket. I rang them up today, yeah. I was kind of mad as well. And I was just saying, like, what you're offering me is derisory. You're offering me, I could be earning so much more money, and you're sitting here offering me £63 a day. Bro, I mean, I've got to go out my way. I've got to then claim the expenses back, then claim loss of earnings, which I'm not going to get anyway. They only pay you a certain amount, like I said. It's a fucking ball ache. It's a fucking ball ache. Basically, you get extorted for your time. That's what it is. I understand some people want to do it, which is great. That's fair enough, but I don't want to do it, man. My time is precious. Blame COVID to get out of it. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. But the thing is, though, they'll just postpone it. They'll have you on another date. That's the only thing. That's the only thing. Just a pain in the ass, man. I was absolutely seething when I got that letter. Just the fact that I've got to take time out of my life to do that shit. And it's going to make everything else so much more difficult. But, you have to do it. Apparently, a democratic country, but, you have to do it. No choice in the matter. Otherwise, they'll try and make it hard for you. It's a joke, man. I literally rung up today as well. So I said my situation about I'm going to lose so much money, bloody, bloody, blah. And she said, "Oh, they'll look at your what do you call it, exemption request, and they'll make their mind up." And I also said, "Well, I've got an anti-police sentiment, anti-judicial process sentiment. Is that going to affect my place?" And she said, "No. I mean, that in itself surely shows that the current system's terrible." Big up to Vector04. Big up to Andrew as well. Salute to Andrew. Hopefully you're keeping well, bro. Down in lovely Essex. Hopefully you're keeping well. But yeah, who have you guys got this weekend? Gennady Golovkin or Ryota Murata? I actually see quite a few people picking Murata, and honestly, I can understand why, given the current state of Gennady Golovkin. 40 years old now, had some hard fights, but he looks in good shape. He does look in good shape, has to be said. He looks in good shape. Yeah, Andrew's got Golovkin UD. I've got Golovkin late stoppage. But I think it's going to be a hard fight. I've got Golovkin late stoppage, Sebastian Fundora stoppage, probably maybe late. I've got Sergio Garcia beating Tony Harrison on points, and I have Ryan Garcia knocking out Emmanuel Tegawe in the mid rounds. They're my predictions for the weekend. Yeah, I still think Golovkin, but it will be a tough one. I agree. I'm really looking forward to it, bro. And the good thing for us UK folk is it's at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So no waiting up till silly o'clock to watch this fight, which I'm happy about. Gives me time to get my shit sorted in the morning. Got to go shopping. I'll watch the fight. And after that, I'll put in some work, post-fight review, start recording for the other channel, a couple of videos. I need to put in work tomorrow. It's that simple. I think Golovkin will stop him, but not interested in the third fight. Unify the WBO versus Janibek. The only one Golovkin's never won. Yeah, that's true. And yeah, that'll be an all Kazakhstan battle. That'll be great. Imagine having that fight in Kazakhstan. That'd be amazing. Both guys been very inactive, but Murata has less miles on the clock. Unless Golovkin gets a late knockout, I'm going to go a split decision for Murata. Interesting. I live in California West Coast time. I have to wake up early to watch Golovkin versus Murata. Bro, you know our pain now. In the UK, we have to wait till like 5 in the morning to watch any fight in the USA. It's painful, man. It's painful. You get to feel our pain now, Brandon. Yeah, some good fights this weekend, man, no doubt. Are you going to watch the UFC tomorrow? I might catch up the next day. I don't even know who's fighting, quite frankly. No, Khamzat Chimaev, he's fighting Gilbert Burns. I'm interested in that fight, see how good Khamzat looks, because that's a big step up. If he ragdolls and dominates Gilbert Burns, the hype is real. Because Gilbert Burns is a good fighter. He's a good fighter. I mean, he badly rocked Kamaru Usman. He's a good fighter, Gilbert Burns. I'm not even sure, Andrew. I'm not even sure. So he's going up to fight for the interim, and I think Janabek is fighting for the interim at 160. They're basically waiting to see what Andrade does, I guess. What do you think of Junto Nakatani's fight? I'm not sure who he's fighting. I know he's on the undercard, but I do like Junto Nakatani. I think he's a formidable threat at flyweight, no doubt about it. He's big for the weight. He's like 5'6", 5'7" for a flyweight. Yeah, he's fighting Ryota Yamauchi. I've not seen this dude fight before. I've not seen his opponent, so I can't really tell you too much. But Junto Nakatani is always good fun. Golovkin beats Murata by 11th round TKO. As long as Golovkin has gas left in his tank, he should beat Murata. Yeah, I can see that. The UFC card is good, stacked card. Who has the better chin, Gennady Golovkin or Arthur Abraham? Ooh, that's a hard one. I'll say Golovkin just because Arthur Abraham has technically been stopped, but Arthur Abraham was tough as nails. He was tough as nails, man. When he fought Edison Miranda that first time with a broken jaw, man, he was squealing in pain in the corner and kept on going on. You know, tough man. Khamzat is absolutely going to destroy him. If he does, man, that's a statement. Because, like, as I said, Burns is not a bad fighter. Why don't people get up at their normal time and watch the replay? That's what I'm saying, bro. It's on DAZN, so you can easily do that. It's on DAZN. You can wake up your normal time in America, just get the DAZN app up and watch it, because you can do that without spoiling the fight. I've done that several times with DAZN cards, you know. If Andrade wins versus Parker, he'll vacate 160 and Janabek gets upgraded. If not, he goes back down and is forced to fight Janabek if he wants to keep the belt. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, a WBO middleweight title has to be vacated by Andrade if he is fighting for the interim title. WBO doesn't allow a champion to hold multiple WBO belts across numerous divisions. If you do that, there's always a slight chance that the result gets spoiled. That is true. That is true. But when it comes to DAZN fights, I've not been caught out yet. When it comes to like DAZN fights, I've not been caught out. Whereas, like, you know, when Sky Sports re-upload fights, let's say there's a top rank card, I hate how they fucking spoil the result every single time. So it's fucking annoying. It's fucking annoying. That is true, yeah. Watching sports live just feels so much better, yeah. That's true, XMB. That's true. But, you know, am I fuck going to stay up for Ryan Garcia, Emmanuel Tagoe? I'm going to watch that the next day, you know? Big up to Mad Chad. Big up to yourself, bro. Check out Mad Chad, by the way. Great channel. The man who belches. I think they've made an exception for Andrade. That's what I was thinking as well, bro. But who knows? These sanctioning bodies make up their rules as they go along. You know, their rules they're not worth the paper they're written on, quite frankly. Let's be real. Let's be real. One second. Is there any fights tonight? I don't think there is. Just want to double check. No, there's nothing tonight by looks of it. Yeah, nothing tonight. But yeah, tomorrow is really stacked. Really good card. Really good cards tomorrow. The PBC cards are not getting much love. I meant to do a preview for it, but I just never had time. But the PBC card tomorrow is actually quite good. Some good fights on that card. Shit, I fucking lost my tab. Here we are. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it, Soothsayer, yeah. Yeah, big up to the BDA family, man, every time. Great channel, great podcast. They're my favourite boxing podcast, along with Boxing Asylum. They are the two best boxing podcasts on YouTube. BDA Boxing and Boxing Asylum. Both really good podcasts because they don't take themselves too seriously. They know they're boxing, but they have a laugh. There's a bit of banter, and that's what I like. I don't like. I know it's kind of crazy considering my videos are pretty formal, but I don't like the formal podcast setting when it's like super like professional. I don't like it at all. So that's why I like BDA. That's why I like Boxing Asylum. Big up to Joe. Big up to Joe, man. Every single time. Hopefully you're well, bro. Yeah, good question. Do you think that the Tank and Mayweather drama is legit or BS to hype up the fight? It could be BS, to be honest. But, those two have fallen out in the past. Mayweather's quite a sensitive guy. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's true. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, from Tank Davis's perspective, I'd like to see him move on after this fight because I think he'll knock out Rowley. I'd like to see him move on and fight for a different promotion to get some big, big fights, see how good he really is. That's what I want for Tank Davis. I want to see him in there with the likes of Devin Haney, Lomachenko, etc., etc., That's what I want to see. What are the worst, boxing podcasts? Is that what you're referring to? I don't really know, bro. Because they're the only two podcasts I listen to. I don't listen to any other podcasts when it comes to boxing. So I can't tell you who's shit in the podcast world. I can't really tell you who's shit and, Also, there was another podcast way back in the day I used to listen to when it comes to boxing called The Next Big Pod. They had such a great podcast, man. They had such a great podcast. But they quit. But if they kept on going, they would have got banned anyway. So it is what it is. Big up to E-Machines, man. Every single time E-Machines drops by, salute to E-Machines. Thanks for the support, bro, man. Big it up, big it up. Yeah, BDA is my favorite. John Gonzalez gets so excited, and then there's Jimmy with his crime statistics and how he always gets fighters' names wrong. Yeah, it's great, man. It's like pub talk, Problem is, I think Mayweather Promotions will try to litigate Tank if he tries to move to Top Rank, which is where he should go, as they hold all of the belts at 135 to 140. Yeah, but apparently this is his last fight with the Money Team. Apparently this is the last fight on his contract. Yeah, Wingy Boxing was really good because Wingy was good. Wingy was very good. I liked Wingy. I know he got his critics in the back, but I liked Wingy. I think it was Ty and Booth who ran him off in the end. Wingy Boxing. Yeah, he was around for years, Wingy Boxing. Prime for Prime, be a very close fight. I might go like Canizales, split decision, majority decision, but it's a close fight. It could go either way, bro. But to be honest, though, I don't know. I think Prince might be too big for him. I don't know. Good fight. It's a good fight. I think Prince might be too big for him. Spence Mayweather, prime for prime. Who wins? Mayweather UD. Heyman has options built into his contracts. You never hear about many fighters leaving PBC for a reason. A lot of money is held back. Yeah, that is true. That is a very good point. But is his contract with PBC or with Mayweather? That's the thing. I'm not sure. My favourite based people in boxing is John Gonzalez, Official Scorecard, Nordic, and Anderson Aldo. Yeah, I know all of those guys. They're all good, man. Big up, especially John, man. John Gonzalez, legend. All of those guys are cool, man. You're a great channel. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Did you see Bivol training recently? He wasn't looking spectacular on the pads, and people think Canelo will destroy him. I've not seen it, bro. I can't really comment. I've not seen it. But, we are we're about a month out, so who knows when that footage was taken as well. And sometimes, fighters hold back. They put things out there, what they want to put out there kind of thing. So you can't really read too much into it, bro. I think it'll be a hard fight regardless for Canelo Alvarez. I think it'll be a hard fight. If Bivol comes to fight, that is. I think it'll be a hard fight. But I'm looking forward to it, man. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. I'm going to try and not get bogged down into the pre-fight semantics. When Canelo fights, everyone talks about this, that, and the other kind of thing. Nice, man. Good to hear. Good to hear. Good to hear. Fuck. Mayweather Promotions is a tool for the PBC to get around the Ali Act. PBC is who Tank will be signed to. Yeah, you're probably right, bro. You're probably right. I think Canelo and Bivol will both look great. Yeah, I've not seen any of the training footage, Shadow Combat, so I can't really comment. Yeah, Based Boxing Basement is fucking hilarious. Not yet, Andrew. I've not done an official prediction yet. I will do... I'll try and get it done as soon as possible, because it's coming round now. But I'll buy the fight. I'm going to watch it round a friend's place. So some of us will get together and buy it, yeah. Can Lubin throw the loop to can Lubin throw the loop to land on Fundora's chin? I don't see why not. I mean, Fundora has no fucking defense, to be honest. I can see him. Yeah, I think he can. Yeah, because Fundora gives up his height and reach. I think Lubin needs to come in low in that fight. Try and come in low and throw the overhand. Try and catch Fundora. But it's going to be a hard fight for Lubin just based on the sheer size of Fundora. Fundora's got good tenacity as well. Throws quite a lot of punches. Carries decent power. So it's going to be a hard fight physically for Lubin. Skill for skill, Lubin is much better. Like, if those two guys were the same size, Lubin wins quite easily, in my opinion. But it's just that size, man. You can't count it out. It's that size. He's got decent power. Seems to have a good engine as well. Tough dude as well, seems to be. I think Fundora goes for distance. I don't see a KO or stoppage. I just don't trust Erickson Lubin's chin. But sometimes, sometimes you'll see a fighter with a bad chin and they'll surprise you and go the distance in a fight you think they'll get knocked out in, like Khan versus Maidana. Sometimes that does happen. But I think I do believe Lubin's in for a hard night. I've not seen enough of Ismael Laguna, bro, so I'm going to go Roberto Duran. I'm not going to sit here and say I've seen a ton of Laguna. Because I haven't, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Interesting. One second, lads. I need to check something ever so quickly. One second. My YouTube's been an absolute cunt. Oh, fuck's sake. Is Inoue still with Top Rank? They didn't show his last fight, and there's no announcement about ESPN or Sky airing the Donaire fight. That's a good question. Not sure. Hopefully it's on Sky. And if Sky doesn't pick it up, hopefully somebody else does, like the Zone, because that fight is too good not to get televised. But having said that, I mean, we've had great fights that haven't been televised in the UK, like Artur Beterbiev versus Alexander Vodsik wasn't televised on mainstream TV in the UK. Josh Taylor versus Jose Ramirez wasn't televised. So I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't get a network over here, or not a big network anyway. Somebody shit will pick it up, like Fight Zone or. Look him up. Laguna had beautiful footwork. I'll give him a look, man. I'll give him a look. Drinking a lovely cup of coffee. Yeah, the whole Russia-Ukraine situation has exposed how the West are good at virtue signalling. Lithuania is a perfect example because they cancelled Russian gas. Wait till the winter comes for them. Yeah, the whole situation to me is just. It's unfortunate, man, because at the end of the day, innocent people are being fucking slaughtered, which is ultimately, that's the thing people should really be concentrating on. I get why people are skeptical on mainstream media coverage. I'm always skeptical when it comes to mainstream media. And are they portraying this event as they should? Probably not. But at the same time, I've noticed a lot of so-called righties just shilling for Russia. I mean, the thing is with politics now, any event like this, it almost feels like people are supporting a soccer team or a football team. It's our team versus yours, when in reality, this situation is just fucking horrible. It's horrible. Like, war crimes are being committed on both sides. Civilians are being killed. Regardless, man, there's a lot of people with blood on their hands. And listen, man, I'm not going to get bogged down by doing loads of research. I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole to find out what I believe is really going on, because we'll never really know. All I know is Putin's a gangster. Zelensky's a gangster. They're not good people. It is what it is. That's how I see it. That's I fucking kicked myself out my own stream. Big up to Marcy D. Big up to Lee Davis. I'm good, brother. I'm good. It's Friday. I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, exactly. It is barbaric. I want Rowley to KO Tank would be pretty funny, given Tank complained about at Floyd for wanting him to fight Lomachenko. Now he's complaining that Rowley isn't a good enough fighter. Yeah, it's crazy, man. The thing is, though, with Tank Davis, one thing I'll say about Tank Davis, right? Honestly, I don't think he's like the most intelligent dude in the world. But I think he's one of those guys where if he didn't have Floyd mollycoddling him, I actually think he would fight guys, to be honest. I actually think he would fight guys. I think it's who's looking after him more than him himself. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I honestly don't care for the Ukrainian or Russia thing. Both countries are a mirror image of each other. One is just bigger. Yeah. I mean, let's concentrate on getting our own shit right first and foremost, not just in regards to this country or America, but, getting our own lives in order and looking out for those who are closest to us, our loved ones, our family, our friends. That should be our main priority. I'm not going to get too bogged down in this Russian-Ukraine situation. I've had 2 years of just absolute shit, where we all have, right? We've had 2 years of absolute liberties being taken, man. I'm not going to fucking subjugate myself to more of this bullshit. I just can't be bothered. I don't know who to believe, because both Russian media and US media lies for their interests. I feel lost. They're two sides of the same coin. Exactly, bro. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. Like, there are certain parts of Russian culture on the outside I like, right? But this whole right-wing obsession with Russia now is weird, man. I mean, 40 years ago, the right-wing were calling Russia the enemy, right? And now these fucking little tradcon right-wingers are fucking shilling for these guys. It's insane, you know? It's insane. But what commies, man? They're literally what they described 40 years ago. They're little fucking commies, man. That's what I'm saying, bro. The right, the left, they're full of shit, man. They're absolutely full of shit. I mean, if the last 2 years hasn't taught us that, I don't know what will. The left-right paradigm is done, man. It's not a healthy. It's not a healthy area to delve into, man. You're just going to get bogged down and distracted, and you're probably going to freak yourself out, man, if you go down too many rabbit holes. Fuck it, man. Yeah, but at the same time, bro, there's a lot of fucked up shit going on in Russia as well. You know, they're not exactly a fucking innocent party in geopolitics. I mean, look at like Wagner Group, to be for example. Look at what they've done in Syria, in Africa, etc., in Ukraine years ago, in Belarus. Like, listen, bro, they're both fucking. All of these cabals are fucking evil, man. Western, Eastern, whatever you want to call it. What I don't understand, yeah, and I thought this for a long time on the discussion of politics, right? I've never understood how somebody can get to 40, 50 years old, middle age, and I don't understand how these people continue to vote, acting, and they think that their vote matters. They think that their vote will change the course of the country or etc. You know, I don't get it. Haven't you been alive long enough to realize that none of this shit matters? Yep, that's a good fight. I'd watch it. But Taylor can't. He can't make 140. It would have to be a catch weight. Yeah. So BDA boxing, boxing debate arena, BDA, and Boxing Asylum. They are the best boxing podcasts online, without a doubt. Bruce Goes, big up to Bruce Goes, man. OG, salute to Bruce. Yeah, I'd like to slap all of these guys. Your old dar, man. I'd like to slap all of these guys. No, I'm not going to listen to fucking Ben Davison, John. No, no, thank you. No, thank you. Well, exactly, Shadow Combat. Exactly. The whole world's a contradiction. The whole world is a contradiction. Like when Usyk left Ukraine, leave Ukraine and fight Joshua, use it as a platform to showcase our cause. And it turns out the fight could be held in Saudi Arabia. Can you imagine? It's all bullshit, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. Again, I try not to pay too much attention to it. Keep an eye on it, obviously. Keep an eye on it, but don't spend hours upon hours, researching and going down rabbit holes and becoming one of those doom and gloom merchants, because it's very easy to do that, thinking that you've got no hope, that wherever society is going, it's done. It's very easy to have that mindset, and that's the problem I have with like the truther community. I call myself a conspiracy theorist, by the way. I believe in conspiracies, but I'm not, at the same time, I'm not a doom and gloom merchant. I believe we can somehow get our way out of this shit and make things better. Whereas most truthers act like the doomsday sayers, oh, it's the end of the world, it's done, it's finished. Where's your fight? Where's your... I'd go Leonard on points. Tom, I'd go Leonard on points. Good fight, though. Everything is confusing these days, facts. Taylor did an interview with Sky Sports where he said he wasn't sure whether he was staying at 140 or moving up to 147. To be fair, though, Taylor could be weight drained and stop Tank inside 8 rounds. Yeah, I'd imagine Tank would be just too small, to be honest. Yeah, that Hunter Biden, the Hunter Biden laptop situation. That was crazy. How social media just brushed that under the carpet. Like Twitter was literally banning articles about it. You know, banning articles. This was during the time of the election. Now, surely that's election meddling, right? Because it was real. The laptop situation was real, but they banned those articles highlighting it. Surely that's technically um, election meddling when you're not letting the people see all of the information that is present in regards to both parties. It's the world. It's a clown world, man. There's no consistency on either side. It's a clown world. I got a feeling that Khan will be fed to Taylor for his next fight at 147. Yeah, maybe Khan gets a tune-up fight. Yeah, and then Taylor fights Khan. Can you imagine? I wouldn't be surprised. PSK. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it's a fucked up situation, man. Listen, bro. I've hardly looked at it. I've hardly looked at it. And I'm a privileged American, but I can't stand the USA wants world peace, wants to be the world police. Yet be picky on what countries to help out while we deal with China, even though they kill and imprison. Yeah, but the whole world is full of contradictions, man. Whatever country you're from, they'll push a certain cause and directly contradict that cause by helping another entity. Right? It is what it is, bro. It is what it is. But you know, people will still go out and vote. So what can you say? True that, Alex. I've got Fundora. I think Lubin's a better boxer, but he's much smaller and he's brittle. I've got Fundora late stoppage, Choi B. I'd be surprised if Khan lasted 60 seconds. I think he'll last a couple of rounds, then get knocked out, to be honest. Imagine what Taylor would do to Khan. Yeah, fuck him up, bro. That's a great fight. Darius Mikushevsky versus a prime Sergey Kovalev. Prime for prime, I think Kovalev's jab will dissect that high guard of Mikushevsky. Mikushevsky has power, so he's always in the fight. But I'll take Kovalev on points. Maybe Kovalev late stoppage, but I'll take Kovalev. I'll take Kovalev. Great fight though. Khan could maybe last a few rounds running and holding, but Taylor's body attacks will break him down quickly. I agree. I'll give Khan 4 rounds at the max. Taylor, Mikey Garcia, or Furman would be good tests for Taylor to start. I think someone like Josecito Lopez would be ideal for Josh Taylor at 147, his first fight. Bernard Hopkins versus Canelo at 160. I reckon Hopkins would win, but he wouldn't get the decision. John Jones. Assess everything with your own moral compass. Yeah, exactly. How bad is that undercard? It's shockingly bad. Yeah, the Fury White undercard. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. You've got Anthony Kakache against Jonathan Romero. Jonathan Romero a few years ago was a good fighter. You've got Isaac Lowe fighting somebody called Ball, something Ball, who's unbeaten. Never seen him fight. Yeah, it's a shit card. You've got Tommy Fury on there as well, which is never good. It's a shit card. I want to do Golovkin and Fundora to win by KO, but I need convincing and that final push to part with my pennies. Bro, if you're not feeling it, Alex, just trust your gut, and if it's not sitting right, don't bet. That's how I see it. I've got a prime Roy Jones. Prime Roy Jones on points though. I think he'll drop Calzaghe a couple of times. Calzaghe will come on strong late on, but lose the fight. Only way Fundora wins is by KO, but he couldn't KO Jamonte Clark, which means he's not a one-punch guy. But do you need to be a one-punch guy to hurt Erickson Lubin? And on top of that, you know, Fundora does have a pretty good work rate. He can smother you and really kind of grind you into that sort of fight. So I don't know, man. It's a good fight. It's a really good fight. And again, that PBC card, it's got Sergio Garcia versus Tony Harrison on the undercard. That's a good fight as well. I've got Sergio Garcia, but it's a good fight. Jared says Michalczewski by late stoppage. I've got Kovalev, but it's a good fight. Ryan Garcia versus O'Hara Davis. Fucking hell. Yeah, it's crazy, John Jones. Yeah, it's crazy. Especially with Chisora, considering how many fights he's lost. But, he generates interest, man. So I honestly think Lubin will win quite easily. I'm not sure where you guys are getting your confidence in Lubin from. I think he's a very talented boxer, don't get me wrong, but I just don't trust his chin. I really don't. I've got Duran on points. But Chavez will be formidable. He's certainly not knocking out Chavez. Let's say it's at 135. He's not knocking out Chavez. Competitive fight, but I've got Duran. Yes, this fight is nearly close, yeah. Joseph Parker versus Joe Joyce. Very good fight. Hand speed difference will be crazy. I think that's going to be a bit of a war. Because I don't think Joe Joyce is going to let Joseph Parker box and move. I think eventually Joe will smother him and catch up to him. And in that moment, Parker's got to fight back. I think that's what you're going to call a slow burn. Early on, I think you'll see Parker moving around, and then he'll be drawn into a fight. That's a good one. That's a very good bout. Ryan Garcia's fighting Akon. Locked up. They won't let me out. Canelo versus King Kong. Canelo unanimous decision. King Kong is not going to deal with a head movement. Prime Roy may bag the early rounds and survive a late scare to win on points. Calzaghe would swarm him late though. Yeah, that's a real good fight. I've got a tenner on Garcia to get knocked down in the first 6. Pays 11-1. That's worth a punt. Yeah, PBC Showtime cards, the regular PBC Showtime cards are pretty good in terms of matchmaking. I can't lie. It's the Fox cards, which they're the shit ones. Yeah, I know, Volta. Yeah, Adelaide should rematch Sakalowski. Yeah, he lost due to the Down syndrome judges. Yep. I agree, bro. I think Kovalev's jab would pierce that high guard. I think he'll be varying that jab from body to head, slowly dissecting Darius. Darius would be dangerous because Darius was a good technical boxer in his own right, carried power, decent counter puncher. But I've got Kovalev. Good fight though. I mean, it's decent, Alex. It's not terrible. I mean, for a regular DAZN card, it's not bad. I'll watch it. Yeah, Duran is quicker both in terms of hand speed and foot speed. I think Duran outpoints him. Yeah, he outpoints Chavez. Jake Paul has more skills than Campbell Hatton. It's close. Prime Larry Holmes versus Prime Klitschko brothers. How do they do and how do their fights go down? I think Vitali would be a much harder fight for Larry Holmes. I could see Larry Holmes out hustling Vladimir on points. I think he beats Vlad on points, but I don't know about Vitali because Vitali was so unorthodox, man. His angles, his footwork was so underrated as well. I'll probably lean towards Vitali in a head-to-head, but I'll pick Larry to beat Vlad, and I'll pick Vitali to beat Larry. That might be controversial. There you go. Ryan Garcia's getting retired tomorrow. I can't see it, bro. Tegawe makes too many mistakes, in my opinion. I think Tegawe gets knocked out mid-rounds. I think he'll give it a go, but he gets knocked out, in my opinion. I think Kalnaki beats Chisora on points in a close war. Yeah, you could be right, but that punishment Kalnaki took in that second Hellenius fight, he took a lot of shots. And he wasn't reacting to the shots well, which would be my concern. Whereas Chisora, yeah, he's taken beatings, but I don't know. I think Chisora might outman him a bit. I think Chisora is definitely stronger. Maybe Kalnaki has the better punch output, but I think the strength of Chisora might win in that fight. It's a good one, though. Parker's stamina suffers late in the fight, whereas Joyce keeps going. However, both have excellent chins. Going to be a war, indeed. I think Vitali beats Holmes. Vlad, I'm not so sure, man. Because I could see Vlad playing that jab game with Larry and getting drawn into that sort of technical fight. You know? And we saw against Fury, he didn't really respond. Now, I think that was partly down to Manny Stewart not being there anymore. Manny's... It's a hard one. I find that one hard. Golovkin versus Hagler. Oh, that's a war. That's a war. It's going to go to the points regardless. That's definitely going to points. I can't see either guy getting knocked out. Both guys had granite chins. Honestly, let's say that the Hagler who fought Mugabe, would he beat Golovkin? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Like, what was the best Hagler? Controversial. I'm going to go Golovkin. Controversial. And that's not to say that Golovkin is necessarily greater than Hagler, but in a head-to-head, I'd probably go Golovkin. No, I would go Golovkin. Yes, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I think Sakalowski's too early for Johnny Fisher, though, to be honest. Kaunaki could outwork Chisora, but I'd lean towards Chisora. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Vitali was underrated, man. There was nobody like him in terms of style, man. He's so awkward, man. And again, watch his feet. His feet are so underrated, Vitali Klitschko. So underrated. Hard to catch clean, that lean back type of style, lead hand control. Really, really, really good understanding of distance. I've got I've got Fundora knocking out Lubin late and Golovkin knocking out Murata late in a war. That's a good bet. I think that's a good bet, Alex. That is a good bet. Santa Cruz versus Wood was ordered by WBA. Whoever you got, I've still got Leo Santa Cruz, bro. I know he's been inactive and shit, but if Leo Santa Cruz is near his best, he'll beat Lee Wood. In my humble opinion. Yeah, I mean Fury's good, man. Fury's good, but his fanboys go over the top. No doubt about it, Neil. No doubt about it. Yeah, but can Leo Santa Cruz even make 126 anymore? That's the question. Oh, no doubt, Volta. Of course, Conor Benn is protected. Yeah, and it's so obvious. It's not even subtle. It's not even subtle. He's literally being matched with non-punchers who are 5, 6, 7, 8 years past their best. You know? Yeah, so apparently the winner of Lemieux versus Benavidez and the winner of Andrade Parker could fight each other, yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I think a lot of it as well. I mean, ultimately, America's a much bigger country. You've got bigger roads. I think really that's all it's down to. Hagler versus Minter and Simpson was a prime Hagler. Probably right, yeah. Because listen, man, I mean, Alan Minter was a good fighter. He was undisputed middleweight champion for a little while. He was a good fighter. He was a good fighter. Oh yeah, you see a lot of French cars. You see a lot of French cars, Peugeots, Renaults. Yeah, there's a lot of French cars. And honestly, most cars made these days in modern times, there's not really such thing as a bad car per se. There's some cars that are more reliable, of course, but yeah, Hellenius. Listen, they're saying Huey Fury, his next fight, they're describing it as a 50-50. I wouldn't be surprised if Huey Fury fights Hellenius next. Don't be surprised. I actually wouldn't mind that fight as well. I think that's a good fight. I'll take Huey Fury, but it's a good fight. Fury versus Holmes. Honestly, looking at how I know stylistically they're a bit different, but looking at how Tyson Fury struggled with Steve Cunningham, struggled with the speed, struggled with the jab, I think Tyson might struggle in that fight. If it's for come forward Tyson Fury, I think Larry beats him. To be honest, if it's this Tyson Fury, I think Larry beats him. The old Tyson Fury who beat Klitschko, that's a different proposition. He could beat G-Man, yeah. I think Golovkin's chin is better, which ultimately, more than likely, would be what that fight comes down to. It would be a war, though. No idea. He fought relatively recently, but I thought it was at 130. Maybe I'm wrong. Steve Collins versus Carl Froch. That one gets asked quite a lot, and I always deliberate back and forth. I'd probably go. What do you call him? Carl Froch in a real close points win. Controversial either way. Could go either way. Honestly, the UFC card is better. The UFC card is better. Yeah. In regards to the Lubin fight, I've got Fundora just based on size and pressure. I think he'll get a late stoppage against Lubin. Fundora as a fighter, I don't really rate his skill set that highly, to be honest. It's just for size. It's purely just for size. If you shrunk down Lubin to a regular 154-pounder, I don't think he'd be top 10, honestly. I think Rosado beats him. I don't rate Shane Mosley Jr. at all. I think Rosado beats him quite handily, actually. Yeah, Fury doesn't seem too keen on Usyk, in my humble opinion. But hopefully we're wrong. Hopefully we see that fight. Well, if Tyson Fury beats White and Usyk beats Joshua again, hopefully we see that fight. Steve Collins beats Carl Froch. You could be right, bro. It's a super close fight regardless. I think that's a super close fight. Yeah, you have to ask the old heads about that one. I'm not sure. But Mike McCallum was a great fighter. He's arguably the best 154-pounder ever. He was a great fighter, brilliant body puncher. The original body puncher. Body snatcher, sorry. The original body snatcher. He'd definitely be competitive against any middleweight. Would I say he beats every middleweight? I'm not sure about that, but he'd definitely be competitive against any middleweight, in my opinion. Yeah, the Canelo best. Let's go, Murata. We need the Canelo Beterbiev fight. I'd love to see it, bro. And Murata's got a chance. I think Munguia outworks him, John. I think Munguia outworks him, but it'll be a great fight. It'll be a bit of a war. Yeah, Fury's about the money. He'd rather face AJ, of course, but Fury would fight Usyk for all of the marbles if it was there. Yeah, I think so. In an ideal world, he'd rather fight Joshua. I think he's hoping Joshua wins, honestly. Oscar Bonavina versus Tommy Morrison. That's actually quite a good fight. Two lower level top heavyweights, if that makes sense. I'll probably go with Tommy just about. I've seen a lot of Tommy, not quite as much of Oscar Bonavina. My concern with Usyk in the rematch is his mindset. If his mindset will be right with all that is going on in his homeland. Yeah, exactly. or on the flip side, it could motivate him even further. It's one of those. Yeah, Eubank is better against pressure fighters, but fucking Munguia's work rate is so good. So good. I mean, look at the Liam Williams fight, for example. And I know Eubank pissed the early rounds and he was well ahead, but in the second half of that fight, he wasn't really throwing. And against Munguia, that'll be a disaster. He's just going to get outworked in those rounds. And it's certainly not going to be as easy to put Munguia on his ass as it was Liam Williams. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Greb all day. I can't comment on Greb. I've never seen him fight. No footage. Evening Dell and all the chat. Anyone know what time the Golovkin Murata fight's going to be on? Apparently, ring walks are around 1 p.m. So just after midday UK time, which is good for us, isn't it? It's good for us. I reckon Munguia would duck Eubank, or he could fuck Eubank as well. He could fuck him up. He could fuck him up. One second, dudes. 1 second. Dillian White versus Tommy Morrison. Very similar fighters. Both were just a left hook, although Morrison's was better. Yeah, Morrison was more. He was more explosive. I think Tommy Morrison. He was more explosive. I actually think Tommy had a worse chin though than Dillian. I think Tommy had a slightly worse chin. That'll be a war, Dillian White and Tommy Morrison. That'll be a war. There'll be a brutal knockout at the end of it. Fury's already talking about retirement, though. I think he knows he can't beat Usyk and will try to delay the fight or hope somebody else beats him. I wouldn't really pay too much attention to the Fury retirement talk. He's been saying that for years now, years and years and years. I've got to go with Tito Trinidad. Like that generation of welterweights with Tito, De La Hoya, Ike Quartey, Shane Mosley. That was a different breed back then. Pernell Whitaker, of course. That was a different breed. Great division in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like even Ike Quartey right now, he would give many top welterweights a lot of trouble. Ike Quartey, like that division was sick back then. Anybody else still believe in Tio? I think his tactics were shit against George, but I'd still give him a good chance against any of the four queens. Not sure, John Jones. I think with Tio, he's got a lot of natural ability in terms of athleticism, power, explosiveness, etc. I don't think his mind is right. I don't trust his mentality. I really don't. He's taken that defeat hard. And I wonder whether he's going to be the same again. He seems like a bit of a mental midget, to be honest. Probably not politically correct, that saying, but what can you do? What can you do? Whoever gets Golovkin after this, they should stand a solid chance of beating him. Charlo, Andrade, etc., even Eubank Jr., depending on how this 40-year-old performs tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. He has to be there for the taking now. Has to be. Yes, weirdly, innit? It's very weird. Tommy would have murked White badly. I mean, he could have, but he could have easily got knocked out himself. I mean, this was a guy who got knocked out by Michael Bent, who, let's be honest, he wasn't as good as Dillian White. I know that's a triangle theory, but Tommy was brittle himself, right? He he could be knocked out, he could be caught, and he could be hurt. So that's a great. It's a gunslinger fight. That's what that is. Yeah, the retirement talk is what it is. It's to sell the fight, Alex. I agree. But yeah, Fury's got a chance. He can beat him, but I think he realizes it's a hard fight. Yeah, 1 p.m. UK time, Mike. 1 p.m. UK time is apparently the ring walk. Yeah, rule number one when it comes to what Fury says, don't take it seriously. There you go. You've said it better than anybody. Billum Smith versus McCarthy rematch. Who have you got? I felt well, the first fight was very close. Good fight as well. I'd probably go Billum Smith again. Similar fight. Yeah, Kell Brook is crazy to fight Eubank any higher than 156. Yes, I don't like the sound of that fight. I really don't. I mean, Eubank's an embarrassment right now. Let's be real. Fighting a washed-up welterweight man. I've got Mike beating Ray Mercer. Ray Mercer was tough as fuck though. Had a great jab, but I've got Mike beating Ray Mercer. Maybe even on points. I think Ray could survive. Ray was very tough in his prime. Very tough. Great chin. Very resilient, and he had power himself. He had power himself. Good fighter. A bit underrated, Ray Mercer. Ray Mercer, on his day, was a good contender. Well, he was a WBO heavyweight champion. I know the WBO wasn't great back then, but how do you think Conor Benn will react when he loses? The emotional outbreak could be huge. Maybe. I'm not sure with Conor Benn, to be honest. I agree, Rui. I agree. Wilder early. Herbie Hyde could punch though. He could really punch. I think Riddick Bowe said Herbie Hyde hit him the hardest he'd ever been hit. So Herbie could really punch, but Herbie was just a very small heavyweight. He should have been at cruiserweight. If he was at cruiserweight in the 90s, he would have done something, in my opinion. He would have done something. But yeah, Wilder. Wilder knockout fairly early. Eubank Brook is a shocking fight. British Boxing Board of Control or of no control might have blood on their hands. Yeah, it's terrible. I agree. Conor Benn could Conor Benn even win a British title? I don't think he can. Yeah, Echo Esserman is the champion right now, and he's a good fighter. Could Conor Benn beat him? Yeah, I think he could win a British title. To be honest, call me crazy, but I believe Mark, who has a chance of beating Ben, beat Jenkins, who Ben dodged. To be honest, I don't think Ben dodged Jenkins. I just think that was a bit of skullduggery on the promotional side of things. Warren didn't seem keen to let Jenkins go to fight Ben. You know, yeah, Dwight Muhammad Qawi versus modern 175 pounders and cruiserweights. I think he would struggle at cruiserweight shadow combat, but his style is so unique at 170. Well, it's unique at cruiserweight, but I think at 175 his style would be so unique. He would give a lot of guys problems. I think he would give Bivol a lot of problems. I think he would give Bivol a lot of problems because he was very quick cutting the ring off. He got underneath and got on the inside. Constant work rate, body work. I think Bivol would struggle with him. I think Beterbiev might manhandle him, to be honest, because he's going to meet Beterbiev in the pocket, and I think Beterbiev has the strength to deal with him. Joe Smith, I think I take Qawi to beat him. But cruiserweight, I don't know. Because some of these cruiserweights these days are basically heavyweights. Let's not forget. Yeah, I thought Mercer was unlucky, and I never understood as well why that fight was only a 10-rounder, and I never understood why we never got a rematch. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. I forget who said that, but I've heard that before as well. Yeah. Callum Smith versus Dimitri Bivol. I take Bivol on points, Lee. I take Bivol on points. I don't think Bivol stops him, but he'll outpoint him, outbox him, beat him to the jab, etc., etc., etc. Nobody can beat Canelo. Probably right at the minute. Bivol murders Callum Smith. I don't think he murders him. Like I don't think he stops him, but he'll beat him in my opinion. Just too mobile. He's a good boxer, Bivol. I think Callum would struggle to get set in that fight. Yeah, it depends though. We'll see how good Golovkin looks this weekend. Just seen a poll on Talksport community tab. Who should be Conor Benn's next opponent out of Brook, Khan, Eubank Jr.? What an absolute joke. Boxing's turning into the WWE. Yeah, especially British boxing. Over here, it really caters to the super casual. And yeah, I mean, to even entertain a Eubank Jr. fight is embarrassing, man. Avanesian versus Ben in Russia. Yeah. Beterbiev would wreck Canelo. Beterbiev is basically a bigger Golovkin. Yeah, I think Beterbiev is the fight. He's the guy who can beat Canelo, honestly. Yadiel, he's got Bivol beating Canelo, but even if he does Yadiel, is he going to get the decision? That's the question. I think somebody needs to have power to beat Canelo. Bivol had a friend in boxing who died a few years ago, and since then he's lost the fire. He's just doing it for a payday. I never knew that, Bump of K. I never knew that. You do wonder if that's affected him. You know, seeing some. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe there's something in that. I could see Callum Smith beating Joe Smith. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he could catch Joe. And he seems to be punching harder at 175. It'll be a good fight. That'll be a good fight. The Battle of the Smiths. Yeah, again, I wouldn't say that until we see Golovkin tomorrow. I'd wait until tomorrow, honestly. Oh, Zelko Mavarovic, yeah, former European champion. He fought Lennox Lewis. Went the distance. Had a really good chin. He would beat Alan Babic. He would beat Alan Babic. Yeah, Bivol hasn't knocked out anybody in 4 years. Theory makes sense. Give Marku some credit. I like Marku. I've not been, you know, cussing out Marku. I like him. I think he's entertaining. Yeah, he is a bit of a weight bully, no doubt, no doubt. That's a big part of his game, no doubt about it. But I think he'll be a bit more revitalized at 175. You know, that's £7 he doesn't have to cut. Like how he made 168, I'll never know. Yeah, that is true. If it's the same Canelo and Bivol at his best, yeah, I see where you're coming from, Yadiel. I see where you're coming from. Canelo way too disciplined and strong for the dude at any weight he chooses to fight. Babic is ducking Dave Allen. Beterbiev at cruiserweight, who knows, man? I mean, he fought in the amateurs at heavyweight, which is basically cruiserweight. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, but the weight cut is massive for him going to 175. But at cruiserweight, man, he'll be undersized. He's a massive light heavyweight in terms of weight, in terms of like structure, but he'll be a small cruiserweight. He'll be a small cruiserweight. Maybe he could beat a Gulamarian, maybe. Maybe. I think he'd beat Makabu, actually. I think he could beat Makabu. But, guys like a Kole, Briadis, I'd probably pick those guys to beat him. Don't like either guy, but I'd love to see White knocking Fury out just to see the big twat John's reaction. Yeah, that'd be funny. Yeah, I've not really got a horse in that fight. I don't really like either guy. Yeah, that'd be a war, Bump of K. That'd be a war. Canelo is undersized. He still fights bigger guys. Yeah, the Haney fight I'm interested in, James. That's a very good fight. Very good fight. Really looking forward to it. I'm glad, I've said this before, but I'm glad there's a resolution at lightweight. I'm glad we know what's happening now, so we can just look forward to it. Because it's a good fight. It's a good fight. And credit to, what's his face? Credit to George Kambosos, because, he was looking to fight Lomachenko. That never happened. So then he chose Devin Haney. I mean, the guy was looking to fight top competition. So credit to him. He never had any fucking homecoming title defense or anything like that. So big up to George Kambosos. It's a great fight, very good fight. I still don't know who I'm picking either. By the way, I still don't know who I'm picking in that fight. No clue whatsoever. I'm going back and forth. If Golovkin were to beat Murata, then move up to face Canelo, presumably vacating his 160 belts, this could actually open the door for Eubank Jr. to actually fight for a legit world title. Yeah, it could. It could. It could. Because I'm pretty sure. Sorry, Eubank Jr. is highly ranked in the WBA. I'm pretty sure, and Golovkin's fighting for that belt tomorrow. Yeah, I agree, Rui. I agree. I like Bradis, but it's getting a bit too much. It's getting too much. Call him out once, fair enough. Bit of a clout chase, cool. I get it. I understand. But making diss tracks, getting tattoos, dressing up like fucking Mario, the guy's embarrassing himself, man. He's embarrassing himself. Just fight a Kole. There'll be decent money in it, There'll be decent money in it. But yeah, I think Briadis wants his exit strategy now. I think he's got one eye on retirement. Problem is Beterbiev's chin. That's why he'll lose to Canelo. British level Johnson nearly had him out. But to be fair though, Johnson he can really punch. He's domestic level, but his power, I would say, is real. And Beterbiev got straight back up and walked him down and knocked him out. And Vodzik hit very hard, and Beterbiev, he ate that shit up. I don't think Beterbiev's chin is bad. I'm not saying it's granite, but I don't think it's like where you would say it's suspect per se. He can be hurt, no doubt, but I don't think it's a bad chin, in my opinion. Yeah, Dave Allen has lost his one selling point being funny. He's depressed as fuck now, yeah. Dave Allen's one of those guys, though. He's just been used up by boxing, Used up and spat out. Canelo recently said he tries to follow a vegan diet. I got bevoled by SmackDown. Maybe that's going to be the key to Canelo losing. Kevin, maybe that'll be the key. Maybe that's Canelo's undoing. John Fury waits outside primary schools. Yeah, George Kambosos has a good attitude, no doubt about it. He's fighting good dudes, man. And he deserved his homecoming as well. He deserved that. He deserved that fight in Australia. Yep. Fair play to him, man, because how many times have you seen a fighter pick up a really big win and then have a couple of easy title defenses? You see it all the time. I don't know, man. Makabu in his last fight looked fucking dreadful. He looked dreadful. I know Beterbiev is totally different stylistically to Machunu, but still, he looked awful. He looked so slow. Nobody's beating Lomachenko. Chin and footwork is that good. Well, Lomachenko can be beat. Lomachenko can definitely be beat, but I'd probably take Lomachenko over Kambosos and Haney right now. Yeah, I seen in an interview with Eddie, and he said Briedis' fight didn't happen because they didn't send an offer. Eddie sounded like he wanted Briedis' team to host the fight. Yeah, which is interesting. Yeah, I mean, maybe that DAZN money has just dried up. Who knows? I don't know. But to be fair, though, to be fair to Eddie, I mean, Sauerland did say that they would try and make that fight. They would try and initiate it. Eubank Jr. is never going to win a world title. He beat a weight-drained Williams by having the ref on his payroll. Counting a false knockdown, he is the most overrated fighter in the UK. He's definitely overrated, but you and I both know how boxing works. And a vacant title against a favourable opponent, it could happen. It could happen, you know? Stranger things have happened in boxing. I'm not even sure what she looks like, Volta. Mateus versus Catterall, great fight. I take Matthias though. Yeah, play Balkan. Yeah, play Balkan war music. Yeah, your next entrance. Some of that kind of music from that part of the world sounds fucking great. It fires you up, even though I don't fucking speak the languages. All from that part of the world, you know, the Baltics, Eastern Europe, etc. There's some banging songs out of that part of the world. Like Povetkin, his entrance song was always one of my favorites. It's fucking banger. Yeah, Janabek Alex, Janabek all day long. Probably mid-round knockout. Danny's a tough kid, but he's domestic level. I mean, he went life and death with Andrei Sorokin, you know? Sorokin's decent, but he's nowhere close to world level. Well, theoretically, yeah, because when he fought Junkenbayev, that was some sort of eliminator for the IBF. And I thought theoretically he should be fighting Jeremias Ponce next in a final eliminator. So he's on the verge, and he's in the IBF. So theoretically, yeah, IBF are pretty good at that when it comes to mandating guys. You reckon Dillian White's got Ultra Tech's address yet? Big up Ultra, big up Ultra. No idea, your old Dar. Be interesting to see on the night. Be interesting. Yeah, I've got Matthias in a war. Plant on points, Alex. Plant on points in a competitive fight. Good fight, though. I'm not even sure whether Eubank Jr. could beat a 48-year-old Sergio Martinez. Come on, man. Come on. Listen, Eubank's overrated, like you said, but come on. He'd fuck up Sergio these days. It's crazy, though. It's crazy because Sergio now, I believe he's ranked in the WBA. It's insane. It's insane, bro. Insane in the membrane. Insane in the membrane. Fucking hell. I'd like Plant versus Jacobs. That's a decent fight. Think Plant's wins unless the judges fuck him. Yeah, I think Danny Jacobs is done though, bro. I think Danny Jacobs, I think he's going to fight Munguia next. That's what they're talking about. That's what they're talking about. Danny Jacobs versus Munguia at a catch weight. I've got Yoka. Yoka by late stoppage. Dillion's a dick. Me and him used to have crack on Instagram. Then I made a video about his run to the Brown fight, and he sent me an abusive message and blocked me. Did you see that guy on Twitter yesterday calling other YouTubers in boxing media a bunch of cougars? I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Yeah, he's trying to turn into a boxer, Lee. He's trying to turn into a sharpshooter kind of thing. Very economical. That doesn't suit his style. I always think Eubank is best when he's up close, letting go of his shots, combinations, punches in bunches, like a buzzsaw in the inside. That's where I think Eubank is at his very best. That's where I think he's at his very best. When he's up close and personal. But he's trying to box now, man. I don't think he's got the jab for it. I don't think he's got the footwork for it. And I don't think he's got the power for that style. Like, he tries to fight in like that one-hitter-quitter style. And I don't think it's for him. I really don't. I really don't. And I think you'll see that soon when he steps up. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Mario Lopez, though, he's a bit of a casual shadow combat. Oh, Plant versus... Yeah, Plant versus Ryder. Yeah, I've got Plant. Yeah, Jacobs Munguia is more competitive than Selby Lemos, yeah. Yeah, he's fighting tomorrow. He's not fighting anybody of consequence, but he's fighting on the Golovkin card, yeah. And he's a very good flyweight, very dangerous. He's big for the weight. He's like 6 foot, sorry, he's like 5'7" at flyweight. 5'6", 5'7". Yeah, Kim and Fisher were there and didn't correct him either, yeah. Zach Chelly punched the face off Eubank and he was crying in the gym like a little girl. I've heard that. I think that was I heard that from Zach Chelly's dad when Zach Chelly's dad, his dad used to talk a lot. Yeah, Eubank could win that WBA belt after Golovkin vacates. Those rankings are the worst I've ever seen. Exactly, bro. People, you have to take that into account. You have to take that into account. There's more than one way to win a world title. You could easily get a vacant title against a fucking no-hoper. It happens, right? It happens a lot in boxing. That's a good question, Lee Davis. Top 3 UK fighters. Fury and Taylor guaranteed, but who takes the third spot? Honestly, right now, I think I would go Sonny Edwards. John Jones, the Manchester Bomber, the Manchester Bomber quote easily. The bomber tattoo on Bellew's back is in no way reference to the attack that happened in this arena several months ago, whatever it was. Fucking idiot. Marku has some real following, not just Albanians. I met some people at the Warrington fight and they were going, the Leeds mob are Marku fans. Yeah, Marku, man, I like the energy he brings to his fights, man. The atmosphere always sounds fucking great. Sergio Martinez is third in the WBA. If a winner of Golovkin Murata vacates for Canelo, then Eubank versus Martinez for a title is possible. Jesus Christ. Can you imagine? Yeah, that's awful, bro. That's awful. I mean, Sergio would get hurt. I mean, I've actually seen a couple of Sergio's comeback fights, and for that level he's fighting at, he doesn't look too bad, but he's shot to bits still. He's shot to bits. Yeah, Marku has no chill. Marku has no chill. That's what I like about him. It's genuine with Florian Marku. It seems genuine, you know. And again, I've said it before. He seems to be the guy that Alan Babbage is pretending to be. But I like Florian. I think he would have definitely lost to Gennady Golovkin. Felix Sturm, on the other hand, I'm not so sure. Like Sturm was good. He was a really good technical boxer. Nice jab, or lovely jab. Nice high guard. But I mean, Felix Sturm could be beat. Felix Sturm could be beat. Like, for example, like the Sergio Martinez from the Sergey Zurich fight or the Kelly Pavlik fight. I think that Martinez beats Felix Sturm, to be honest, on points. I don't think he knocks out Sturm, but I think he beats him on points. Yeah. The WBA rankings are fucking dog shit. I always thought Felix Sturm's jab and accuracy would have prevailed against Sergio. Sergio could catch him, but he doesn't have a tight short power of Castillejo. Yeah, it's a good fight. It's a good fight. See, the fight I wanted to see back then was Dmitry Pirog versus Sergio Martinez. I think Dmitry Pirog would have beat Sergio. I think he would have beaten Sergio. I think Dmitry Pirog back then would have beaten everybody apart from Golovkin. Honestly, yeah, exactly. John Jones, Martin Murray clearly beat him. I agree. Yeah, he beat Sergio. But to be honest, though, Sergio at that point was washed. Let's be real, man. He was wearing his fucking knee braces. He was done. He was done. Because you have to consider he was late 30s towards the end of his run. He was late 30s, mid 30s. Sergio, from like the Zurich fight, Pavlik fight, second Williams fight. That Sergio, I think he'd have beaten Felix Sturm. I really do. Josh Taylor looks like a Pokemon. I don't see it. I don't know what you're on about, honestly. Bollocks. Oh, Cornflake Killer. Oh yeah, Erislandy Lara. He's the WBA regular champion. Yeah, he could get elevated. That's true, Jared. I forgot about that. That's true. Yeah, you could see Erislandy Lara as a champion again. That's possible. I wouldn't mind seeing Lara versus Eubank. If Lara has his legs still, he'll fucking school Eubank. He'll school Eubank. Yeah, Billy Joe didn't look good against Martin Murray. It's true. It's true. Billy Joe versus Andy Ruiz next. Yeah, Billy Joe. I'll be surprised if we see Billy Joe again, to be honest with you. I'd be very surprised. Very, very, very surprised. But who knows, man? Stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. I guess he could be tempted back with a big payday, like maybe a Eubank rematch, for example. Eubank will wait till he sits on the couch a bit longer, call him out, call him out, call him out. Fight could happen. You know, Billy Joe might sell what's left of his career. You can't be dissing Charles Martin, man. The greatest Southpaw heavyweight champion of all time, Charles Martin, the goat. Charles Martin, man, Jesus. Yeah, that'll be interesting. The Cubans now will have much more. They've got much more scope to turn pro, which is good. We'll see what talent comes from that part of the world. And Andy Cruz, Olympic gold medalist at lightweight, he said recently that he's looking to turn pro. That'll be very interesting. There'll be a lot of promotional companies looking to sign him because his style is not strictly Cuban. He can do a bit of everything. Andy Cruz. So that'd be interesting. Yeah, that'd be very interesting. Yeah, it's an all it's we've seen it so many times in boxing. PSK with those sort of fighters who clearly have ability, clearly have talent, but not the dedication. It's an all too familiar tale in boxing, unfortunately. Yeah, okay, I wouldn't mind seeing it. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Londoner in the sticks. Heard that Taylor's now open to fighting Catterall rematch at 140 instead of going to 147. Heard on another channel that he's talking about getting the Mandos out of the way and potentially running it back. Okay. Now he can mix it up, Andy Cruz. He can mix it up. I think he'll do well in the pros. Andy Cruz sounds like an auto-generated Latino name. He's good, man. He's good. He's very good. And I'm presuming he would turn pro at lightweight as well. I'm presuming. Oh, bollocks, clicked the wrong thing. A good warm-up fight would be Billy Joe versus Yildirim. I couldn't even imagine it, bro. It'll be so shit, honestly. It'll be so shit. Like Yildirim plodding along, following him around the ring, and Billy Joe tickling him for 12 rounds. Oh, God. Can you imagine? Ugh. I get you, though. I get you in regards to warm-up fights. It would make sense, but fucking hell. Fuck watching that shit, honestly. Garbage fight. Garbage fight. Awful, man. Yeah, I think Taylor's fucked at 140, Lee. I agree. I don't want to see Taylor at 140 again. In an ideal world, he would take an easy fight at 147 like Khan or Brook and then go straight into a fight against Crawford. I wouldn't say, I don't think an easy fight. I'd say someone like Lopez, Josecito Lopez, a guy who's respectable, who's still got something in the tank. I think that'll be ideal for Josh Taylor at 147. Someone like Josecito Lopez, maybe even David Avanesian. Maybe even David Avanesian. I wouldn't mind seeing. Because Avanesian's a very good fighter, but he's not top five, or, it's a credible name. Yeah, Josh Taylor doesn't live a life outside the ring. At those weight divisions, it's a dangerous game. He's already 31 too. It's not that young. Yep. Ricky Hatton had the same problem at 140, constantly ballooning up. I don't think Taylor's as bad as Ricky Hatton, but still, it catches up to you. Yeah, Brook at 147, regardless, is a death wish, bro. Yeah, Mean Machine makes sense. Mean Machine makes sense. Maybe a Maurice Hooker, that sort of guy. A guy who's beatable but respectable, a guy who will give him a few problems, a guy who'll come to fight. That's who Taylor needs to fight in his first fight at 147, in my opinion. You know, not one of the elite guys, but a decent guy. And I don't think Khan or Brook really fit that at 147 anymore. Yeah, and you wonder, Lee, is that the Ben Davison effect? That's what I worry about. Because there were signs of that in the Jose Ramirez fight as well. I felt there were moments in that fight where he could have pushed on the gas and maybe got Ramirez out of there, but he coasted the last few rounds, and that's a dangerous game. That's a very dangerous game. I know he was up clearly, but it's dangerous to do that. And he nearly got burnt as well, let's not forget, because those cards were very close in the end. So I'm not convinced by this Ben Davison link up. Knowing what we know about Ben Davison, he tends to favour technical guys who can stick and move a little bit. That's not really Josh Taylor, is it? He can box a bit, Josh Taylor, but that's not his game, primarily. That's not his game, is it? I would watch it, Shadow Combat, but I mean, again, Kel wouldn't take that sort of fight. It's not worth his time. I think it's just the MTK connection, John Jones. I think Ben is in bed with MTK, so naturally he's going to get first picks on a lot of those fighters who work with MTK. He's just aligned himself really well, and that's just the way of the world now, isn't it? It's networking. It's who you know. It's not always what you know, especially in a sport like boxing. It's not necessarily what you know. It's who you know. And maybe Ben Davison goes on to be a really good trainer. I'm not saying he doesn't know boxing or anything like that, but for such a young trainer to get all of those gigs, it's unusual. Yeah, although Lee McGregor didn't look too good last time out. Yeah, he's done a good job with Lee Wood. It has to be said. It has to be said. He has done a good job there. I'll give him credit there. He's done a good job there. Yeah. I'm not sure, bro. Yeah, Josh Warrington will likely get a medical exemption or whatever, which could mean we see Lara versus Lopez for the interim title. Yeah, that'd be a great fight. That'd be a great fight, all Mexican battle. Obviously, we know about Maurizio Lara, but Bernardo Lopez is a very good fighter as well. He knocked out Isaac Lowe pretty recently, and he beat up Gabriel Flores. Yeah, that'd be a hell of a fight. That's a hell of a fight. Yeah, that was the biggest shame about Josh Taylor falling out with Barry was losing that partnership with Shane. Shane was great for Josh Taylor, man. He really was. He really was. And I'll tell you what, man, if Barry didn't fumble it like he did, like Cyclone would have been a really good promoter, like an additional promoter for other, young prospects to come up with, because their matchmaking was really good. Cyclone with Josh Taylor, their matchmaking was really good. They gave him the right fights at the right time, matched him really well with tough dudes. It's good shit, yeah. Yeah, I've still got the Zone Warlock, but I'm at that stage now where I have been deliberating whether to cancel it. I have been, I can't lie. But this weekend is pretty decent. We've got the Golovkin fight, we have the Ryan Garcia fight, so I mean, this weekend is decent. Not sure what else is coming up. I don't know where Lee would go from here. He had a punt. He'd have a puncher's chance against Santa Cruz, but I wouldn't give him a chance against Warrington. I think they both beat him, Lee. To be honest, I'd say he's got a puncher's chance against both as well, but I think he loses to both. Of all time, no idea. Shadow Combat. You've got to put Brendan Ingle up there for a start. You've got to put Brendan up there. He'd probably go down as the greatest. but it's hard to say, man. No, he's gone missing, Alex, ever since that Lee Wood fight. He's gone missing. Yeah, Frampton was good under Cyclone. Under yeah. But to be fair, when that started happening, I think Carl was already on his way out. He was on the downward slide. To be honest, I don't think much would have really changed in his career, in my opinion. Liam Williams, most underrated. Jesus. Best UK trainer right now. I think Grant Smith is up there. I like Grant Smith. I like Shane McGuigan as well. I think Shane's a good trainer. I say Grant Smith, Shane McGuigan, they're up there. Yeah, John, exactly. Yeah, and Frampton, his last fight against Jamel Herring, he was badly undersized because that was at super featherweight. But anyway, guys, I've got to wrap this up. I need to wrap this up. Yeah, have a good weekend. Enjoy the fights. We've got a good weekend, so yeah, enjoy it. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Stay safe. Peace.